What's happening, everybody? It's me, Metalhead Prime here, and this is Metalhead's Aquatic Mayhem. And today we have another product review of the Hygger Auto Aquarium Gravel Cleaner HG966. Now, the awesome people at Hygger sent this to me. Give her a little whirl. Check it out, because as we all know, I've been for years a huge fan of the Python. But 2 decades of using that thing, I've got some issues with it, which sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. It would appear, though, judging by what I can just see on the box that I haven't opened yet, looks like Hygger might have been listening. Maybe a little bit harder than Python was. So now, I'm not going to slam Python. That's a great system. A lot of us use it, right? So, but there's some drawbacks. We're going to check this one out. Now, this being the HG966 model, it is the 49 foot. Or 50, depending on how you look at it. So, let's just crack it open and see what we're working with here. All right. We've got some, definitely didn't open this already. Pretty straightforward, easy instructions. Kind of gives you a breakdown on everything. I don't know how well you can see that or can't. Tells you about all the adapters, how they work. You can run it this way if you want, but not really that necessary. Gives you a breakdown on, you know, how you hook it up to your faucet, how it's supposed to run, so on and so forth. And I mean, this is the thing I love the most about it. That's literally all the instructions. I mean, there's not a DVD on it, you know, so that's cool. The hose, lots of hose. I'm not going to make any jokes there. It would appear to be 1/2 inch diameter. It is very malleable, so that's handy. The Python's pretty malleable too. Let's see. We have some assembly required, but that's okay. So first off, right off the bat, a couple things I'm noticing here that they're my gripe, okay? I don't know if anybody else has this problem or if it really matters that much, but to me it's kind of annoying. So on the Python, this is their connector to hook to the faucet. This top piece, there's a big, looks like you could put an Allen wrench in there if you have one that size. I do, it's just not here. But this will loosen up over time. So if you're moving around or whatever, not paying attention, if you have this tight enough on the faucet, this will come loose. And then guess what happens? Water goes psss, everywhere. So, you know, that can be a problem, especially on wood floors or fake wood floors. Even bigger problem. So that's kind of a gripe of mine. It doesn't get very tight without a wrench. I can jam my thumb in there. Obviously, you can tell I've been doing this for so long because I just jam my thumb in there and bam, good to go until it loosens up again. Anyways, the next gripe I have is this release right here, this drain. Sometimes things can get caught. So if I'm cleaning Frank's tank, there's a lot of soil in there because Frank dug it all up. Thanks, Frank. Sometimes that will get pulled through and then it'll get caught right in these threads. And that can make it tricky sometimes to get that thing to release or get it to tighten up enough that it stops spraying everywhere. Basically what I'm saying is if this is not perfectly clear, it will spray everywhere. Okay, that's a gripe that I have. This connector right here, it looks loose. This is the end that connects to this T right here, so on and so forth. Well, this little guy doesn't spin this easy, you know, while it's on the connector here. I don't know if he calls it a T valve or what. I just lost the O-ring. That's perfect. I find more or less, if I'm trying to loosen this up, this will loosen up, which, I mean, yes, they have a crush sleeve here, but over time, those will loosen up too. So, I mean, I've had this one for probably 20 years, maybe more. I have replaced this fitting. I have also replaced this fitting. This is your shutoff, which mine kind of does the 360 telescoping thing that it's not supposed to do. It can be tricky turning it on and off. Well, turning it on is great. Turning it off is another story. So just a few quarrels, and I mean, I get it. It's just plastic, and it's lasted this long. I really shouldn't gripe that much about it. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and slam Python. Just a few quarrels that I've had. Just a few things that I've had. So the other thing is, too, when those first came out, I think you could only get them in 25-foot lengths. Well, that's fine if you have one tank. The more tanks I acquired, the harder it got to reach some of them. So then I had to add on and add on and add on. And I mean, well, picking up a few of the tanks, I picked up more Python systems, which was great because you can just easily add them on. It's not an issue. But Hygger offers, I believe, 3 variants. There's a 20 or 25 foot, a 30 or 35, and then the 50. I think it's something like that. I will put the links down below so that if you guys are interested, you're more than welcome to go check them out on Amazon or at their site. And then you can see what I'm talking about. Cost-wise, they're actually really good cost. For the 50-footer, right around what I paid for the 25-foot Python 20-some years ago. So, you know, there's that. Let's move on to Hygger's coupling device. A few quick things just right off the bat that I'm noticing. If you look down here, I don't know how well you guys can see this. I will try to open this one. Oh, that one is open. Okay. So on the bottom of the Python, you've got probably 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch of a disc there, which is fine, but sometimes things get caught there. Well, with the Hygger, you don't. That, I would say, is probably a 1/4 inch diameter circle. The rest of it is all ventilation or drain. So you can actually see straight through the ball valve, and you can turn it, and the ball valve turns so easy. Now, I know over time that will probably change, but it turns like it was meant to be, and those don't do that. Never have. So that's a huge plus. They still have the same Allen keyway fitting, whatever you want to call it, but it is in there tight. I mean, there's your O-ring. I can't work it loose with my thumb. So that's a definite plus. So I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. Plus, this is where you're going to attach your hose. It's a barbed fitting, no need for crush sleeves. Put this on your hose first, get your hose on there, and sometimes, you know, a little bit, it'll go right in. Just got to put some schlickum on it. And then, if you notice, the threads are pretty meaty. Very easy to get it right the first time without cross-threading. That's a huge plus. So, let's move on to this contraption. One of the biggest drawbacks with the Python that I had when I first got it was the fitting that connects to the faucet is plastic. Now, they do have metal variants, which I do have. I don't even know where my plastic ones are anymore. This little guy, you just kind of, I mean, you can dismantle it, and then it gives you this quick connect fitting, which you just push up, and out it comes. Super easy, super simple. So anybody that's in the automotive industry, quick connect on your airlines, stuff like that, this should be a walk in the park for you. Apparently me, it's not, but, you know, it's me. So this is, I don't know if it's brass or what, but it definitely feels good. It's heavy. Not like too heavy or anything like that, but definitely feels like a good quality coupler. So what I'm probably just going to do is piggyback off of the coupler that's in my faucet already for the Python, since that one is a brass coupler. We'll just figure out which one of these we need. Probably that one or that one. I don't know yet. I have to go look. But actually, that one. Super easy. So that gives me the connector that can't work. The quick connect fitting. So that's pretty cool. So that I like. Let's get to, this would be the siphon. And what the Python does not have at the top of their siphon is any kind of grate. So if you pop this off, anything you pull in gets sucked in, and then it gets caught. And it will get caught in a few places. It'll either get caught in the shutoff valve, in the line, anywhere where these crush sleeves are, any kind of debris, soil, whatever, will get stuck there. Gravel. Most importantly, if you're not watching, sand. Sand will get plugged up in there, and then it's not fun. So there's nothing here to really stop that right in this area. Well, Hygger was listening again. And if we look right there, there is I would call that a gravel grate, or a grate in general. Also, there's another shutoff right here. So I don't have to look for my placement, although it's not far. I don't have to sit there and go, okay, and fiddle with that. I can just go. Don't even have to lift it. So that's a huge plus. Now, with this particular one, the tube is a little bit shorter, but there is a reasoning for that. So as you put that on, you can take this little guy, which is a neat little idea, and you can pop it on the bottom there. And what this, to me, seems like it would do is direct the flow more inward. Might even, I don't know, it might even give you a few more HPs on the vacuuming ability. So definite cool feature that Python doesn't have that. But if it pops off, it easily pops back on. But if we look here, so you're taking this, I'm going to say a 2-inch pipe, and reducing it basically to 7/8 or 3/4. And then you're putting this on it, which is also reducing it some more. So that's going to, in my mind, you would think it would accelerate the vacuum. So, I mean, there's not much to it. What do you say we throw this bad boy together and give it a test? The 125 behind you there could use some attention. It's about due for a water change. It's not the dirtiest tank I have, but why not? I tested other Hygger products on it. Might as well test this one. All right, let's get to it. Water is on. Let's stick her in and see what we got. Now, I'm not going to use that orange fitting at first. I just want to see if I can do it without it, because I just think it's going to want to just dig on the sand. This isn't really meant for sand. It's gravel cleaner, and I would pick the sand tank to do it with. So we're going to let her pull some water in through the 984 feet of hose, and she's getting it. She's biting, so we're good. So we're just going to see what we got to work with, and okay, she's getting some stuff and some things. I'd say it's working pretty good. And what I'm noticing is clearly I didn't clean this sand when I stuck it in here, first and foremost. But what I'm really noticing is it's not really trying to suck it all in like the Python would. So the Python, what I've had happen with the Python is I've had it pull sand in and actually get stuck like halfway. And then it's a real treat to get the sand out of there. See if we can force it to do it. It's not doing it. So this grate up here is probably helping break some of that suction up enough that it won't lock that gravel in. Now I do have a tank that still has gravel. So with that being said, I may just do a little bit here because this one really didn't need a whole lot. I'll do a little bit here and then I'll go to the one with gravel. And then we can give that little orange guy a good test there. My only concern with that is it's literally right next to the sink that I'm going to use. So I don't know if too close is a bad thing, but we'll find out. I don't know how well you can see it though, but it circulates very well. Let's try to get some, see if I can get it in the light. It really, you can see it circulate. That's pretty cool. There's a good shot of it. So if I just sit here and let it dig, the sand's coming about halfway up. It's getting the finer particles, which that's fine, but the heavier particles are dropping. All right, cool deal. All right. Well, that's this tank. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and just top this one back off. Then I'm going to go to the one that has gravel in it. The only remaining tank that I own that has gravel in it. Not by accident. That one has some. So I'll quit talking. We'll fill this guy up. I won't put you guys through that part. And then we'll go in there and then you'll see my gravel tank. And that's the one that houses the infamous Galactus. So stay tuned, there's more. All right, so here we are. We are at the 55-gallon that houses the one and only Galactus that I picked up from the Keystone Clash last year. And this little dude is just becoming, he's just like Bobby reincarnated. Bobby didn't go anywhere. He's in the tank over there that you can't see. And he's really mad because I'm ignoring him. But this is Galactus. He is a Siltike Fireman's Dream mix. He's starting to fade, so it's pretty cool. And then there's what was told to us, a Japanese algae eater in there, which I don't believe it. It's just an albino pleco. But they couldn't take care of him. We took him in because I have a hard time saying no. Anyways, that's not this video. So we are going to go ahead and try this attachment in the gravel, see what it can do, and then, I don't know, maybe we'll try it with and without. So without further ado, let's just get it. We'll crank the water on here. And there we go. Now, the problem is it's 49 foot of hose, and I'm like 2 foot away from the aquarium. I don't know how well this is going to work. But it looks like it's working out pretty good. And it's just getting right at it. Now, some of that gravel is getting in, which is not a big deal. It's basically dropping right down there in the cup of that attachment, but it's picking up all this uneaten food, which is perfect. Now it's got all the air out of the system. So I guess you can just use this to like graze the surface. So that's cool. Maybe get towards the siphons there or whatnot. We got some gravel trapped. That's okay. This is why I don't like gravel. Oh yeah, okay, so you can actually, if you've got a buildup of food like I do, you can actually use that to kind of get it up off of there. That's cool. All right. But that's not the meat and potatoes. I want to test that gravel grade out. And the way I'm going to do that Probably get bit in the process. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay. Well, what we're going to have to do here is take it out. And again, if that pops off, not a big deal. And she is in there. Okay. That thing does not like to come out. That tells you it's in there good. Just pry it a little bit. So that says something right there if you have to do this to get that out, which is perfectly fine. I guess I could have just done that, dummy. Yeah, we'll get those in there later. So I guess there's a bit of a drawback. Yeah, sometimes the gravel can get lodged, which it's gravel. It's going to do what gravel does. All right, oops. Hey, the grate worked. So, since this is so close to the sink, and again, this is the long model. I have my reasons for getting that, and you all know why. We're just going to have to aid it a little bit once it's got water in there. Now, here's a trick that we're going to try. Let's see. I'm just going to try this. We're going to shut that off so it'll basically fill. This should prime. Okay, now we are putting water out. So if you have this happen to you, once you have the water coming out, open the valve back up. And then what it should do, this is the way gravity works, it should pull it back in. And it's getting there. But with this long of a hose, you can get airlocked very easily. There we go. Maybe not. Come on, get it out. Get it out. Is it doing the thing? It's doing the thing. There it goes. All right. So now we're just going to give her all the onions. And I'm going to purposely try to get some gravel caught in that grate. I'm just going to try. The other thing I want to see is if this uneaten food gets caught in there. Which it's not a huge deal if it does, because I can just, put that out in the sink. But she's doing good. Galactus hates this. That's perfect. And it's really getting some stuff, man. You don't realize this is the problem when you overfiltrate. You just don't realize how long you can let things go sometimes. Oh, man. Oof. I feel like a bad fish dad. And some of that's the dye coming off the gravel too. But I don't think all that is. But she's just getting right at it. So this little orange guy right here is probably good for, grazing the surface if you don't have to dig the gravel. And I'm not going to go too crazy digging the gravel. I tend to not want to do too much at once because it can really screw things up if you do that. So I'll probably go about halfway and then we'll fill them back up. But I'll make sure any of the uneaten food I, graze over the surface with it. Get that out of there, and then we should be okay for a little while. And then a couple days later, I'll come back in and I'll get that side. So But it's doing a great job. It's doing fantastic. And no complaints. Ooh, I have a suction cup. Yeah, overall, what I'm noticing here is it's not even trying to pull the gravel up, which some of them will. You know, the Python does. If the gravel's light enough, it depends on the consistency of the gravel, basically. If it's sand, it's coming up, as we saw, you know, on the 125. But this thicker cut gravel, whatever you want to call it, doesn't even matter. Bad part is it gets stuck in there. Not a big deal. And again, I'm just learning this thing, so. But it is really pulling. Either the Python didn't even do that. The Python was too busy, you know, getting stuck like right here. I would have to stop, pull it out, and go over the other side of the tank. This, I can get right under there. So that's a huge plus. So, I guess that's the advantage of the tube being just a few inches shorter. And it almost feels like this hose is just a little bit more malleable than the Python hose. I don't know if there's a difference in the tubing with those two. I would imagine. Probably because mine's 20 years old and on its deathbed, but might have something to do with it. Yeah, we can get all that with it. Heck yeah. That's just going to help the filter out in the long run. And we'll come over here and freak that fish out, because why not? There's where I need the fitting. So, let's just... Perfect. Let's just see if my theory's correct here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then you can also get into like little crevices there. We pulled that guy right in, I think. Yeah. I like it. I dig it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop with the pull there. What I'm going to do is, because I don't know if the breeze is getting pulled through that grate, I can't really see it too well. So to avoid running the risk of pumping all that back into the tank that I just got out, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, I can see it now. It's caught in there. So there you go. The gravel grate does its job. It stops the gravel. And unfortunately, there's some food that didn't make it in there, which is not a huge deal. And yeah, that all just went down the drain. That's okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just flush it simply by hitting the reverse on it, let it pump all that out, and it can go down that drain. But the beauty of it is, it's not going to clog up. If it clogs up, it's going to do it here or here. So, yeah, like you see there, I got one little rock in that. Okay, fine. I'm not that heartbroken over it. It still did a fantastic job. All right. It's super easy to remove. So, now what we're going to do, what I like to do is kind of put my hand under the spout and kind of feel the temperature coming out of the faucet. I'll add a little warm water, especially with, you know, these guys, they like it warmer, and I don't want to shock him. So I will just give that just a second to see how it feels. right and about in there. She's pulling again. Okay. We just gotta give it a minute with a hose that long. It's okay. Now we're feeling good. So now I'm going to just simply flip the lever and let her go into fill mode. So we're gonna fill this guy back up. I'll save you guys the trouble of watching that. Once we have that filled back up, we will come to the conclusion of this review, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I was super excited to do this. Did it turn out exactly how I wanted it to? No, but unfortunately that tank just wasn't that bad a shape. So kind of had to revert to one that did need attention though, and that's perfectly fine. Plus it'll make Galactus a happy boy. So, or girl. I think he's a boy. Sure acts like one. See? Love him. Oh, man. So now, yes, I have Bobby and Galactus. And for those of you that didn't know I have Galactus, now you do. But super awesome fish. We got him from Dr. Boz Aquatics. I believe they're based out of New York or somewhere in that vicinity. I can even put his information in there, and he's got plenty of fish. So definitely want to check him out. I've also got my buddy at Michigan Tropicals who can get you just about any fish you want. So, yeah, no, that's for a different video. That was an easy catch. So this more or less is just a review of a product. Stay tuned for the next one when I do tank updates, which I haven't done one in a while. Maybe I'll do that next. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and fill this up. This won't take very long. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and then at the end of the video, I will go over pros and cons and give you my flat-out honest opinion. So stay tuned for that. All right, well, there we are. As you can see, I'm going to place it right in this general vicinity. That tank is filled back up, and they are so happy right now. In fact, right now they are in there just getting it. So super happy with that. And it's only a 55 gallon. It didn't take long, but you guys have seen 55 gallons filled before. But I would just like to end this video by going over pros and cons. And I'm going to go ahead and start where nobody ever starts before. I'm having to look down because I don't know if I trust this mic. I'm going to start with the cons, because really it was only one. This thing. And this is not a major issue. It's not a deal breaker if it were me. But gravel gets stuck in there. Whoop-de-doo. It's not that big a deal. If it irritates you that bad, don't use it. But this is very handy for getting into nooks and crannies. I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but it got in where the round tube is just not going to get in. And it pulled it in nicely. Also, this grate right here, I think that's a huge factor in that. And it's kind of nice because if the debris is too large to go in, it's not going to go in. It'll stop right here. So basically, if you do clog up, like if you're trying to clean a dirted tank, that would have been a good video if I did that. But if you're trying to clean a dirted tank and you get a clog, you don't have to run all the way down the line trying to find where it got clogged. With the Python, it can get clogged here. It can get clogged at the neck, or it can get clogged right in one of these areas. So then you're spending time trying to figure it out, unclog it, and get back to work so that you can carry on with the other 27 aquariums. Or 2, whatever you got. So that in itself is a huge help in my opinion. super easy. If you notice a problem, just shut it off. Take it out, do that, clear it out. You're open it back up. You're back up and rocking and rolling. These fittings are super awesome. I love these fittings. They are great. I didn't get to use the quick connect. I might just have to hook it up so I can say I used it, because I like that idea. But I did have to go with this one. And I apparently have super strong strength. So can't get that out. We won't worry about that right now. However, if you think, oh, I've got the fitting in my sink and I'm going to use the one for the Python for this one. No, you're not. No, you're not. You have to use their fitting. Because I thought I was going to do that, and So, but that's okay. That makes it nice. That way, it's 100% their system. The longer hose, if you're 2 foot away from the sink, the longer hose can be a hindrance. But that's not the system's fault. You might have to just give it some extra time that you normally would with a 20 or so footer. You got to give it a little extra time. It's got to be able to pull. You know, if you have to stop for any reason and then try to reprime it, whatever, it's got to take a minute. You can aid it by simply just picking the hose up, let it do its thing, flushes out the water, and then you just, bam, you go right back to work. The thing I've noticed with Hygger products in general, they save time. The 6-in-1 tool saves me a heck of a lot of time when I just need to do a quick bit of scraping on the glass, which you probably can't see now because the lights are shutting down. Hey, because Bluetooth. But other than that, I have absolutely no complaints. I would definitely recommend this system to anyone. Nothing got clogged in here. That is a weak point on the Python. Nothing got clogged in here. That is also a weak point in the Python. And basically, it couldn't get through to it because of that. And really, nothing got clogged there. Overall, that's a win. So, I highly recommend this. I definitely highly recommend this. I'm stoked to use it again. Now I'm kind of hoping the rest of these guys get dirty so I can, you know, go at it. But the reason I got the longer one was because the tanks behind you that you can't see, the Hex, the T-Bone tank, Frankie's tank, those are all tricky to get to with a 25-foot hose, the way the house is laid out, where I've got the attachment and we use it. Plus, it can reach upstairs without having to have a bunch of fittings and add-ons and this and that. And when you add on, yeah, you can, but when you add on, you add couplings in, you add restriction, and if you get any kind of blockage in there, you're looking for it. And it's just, it turns into a nightmare. So if I finally found one system that can reach all the way to top to bottom, then I'm happy. Price point, my opinion, excellent. For this unit here, I think it's listed under $40. For that Python, that 25-footer, 20-some years ago, I think it was $40. 30 or $40. Or it might have even been more than that. It might have been 50. I can't remember. That was 20-some years ago. I wasn't really paying attention back then. And so, definitely go check it out. I'm going to have all their links at the bottom. Definitely go check them out. They also have the 6-in-1 cleaning tool. And if you don't know what this is, if you haven't used one of these yet, and you have 25 algae brushes or scrapers or whatever, and you just got nowhere to put them in their clutter and you know, whatever, nets, everything, get rid of all that. Save yourself the time. Go check their website out at one of these links below and pick up, I keep doing that, pick up the 6-in-1 tool. I'm telling you, I did that on purpose. I'm telling you, check that out. You will not regret it. Anyways, I'm going to let it go at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a blast making it. I want to thank Hygger for making this video possible. And I hope I get to do it again because this was a blast. So any of you that have the system, you want to leave a comment down there, the box is open, free, doesn't cost a penny, just cost a couple seconds of your time. Feel free to do that. Don't forget that like button. It's dangling around there too. And the share button. Share it. Sharing's caring. And it sounds creepy when I say that. But anyways, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. I don't know why I have to say this, but if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. That way you get to see when I do some more cool stuff like this. So, without further ado, I'm Metalhead Prime. This has been Metalhead's Aquatic Mayhem product review of the Hygger HG966. I did that off my brain. I wasn't cheating because the lid is open. I hope you guys have a great week and stay metal.